Metronomicon Ex Mortis, the Book of the Dance. Bound in human flesh and inked in blood, this ancient Sumerian text contained bizarre EDM beats, metal incantations, and demon dance routines. Oh, wait, shit, sorry. That's a joke about the Necronomicon. Right. On to the review! The Metronomicon is a rhythm RPG, and yes, that is apparently a genre. Who knew? Well, let's find out how well that works. When you first start playing the story mode of Metronomicon, your first impression may be the same as mine, that the voice acting during the story leaves something to be desired. Occasionally, the leveling of the audio tracks can be a little wonky, causing distortion. Now, this isn't really a problem with the game if you just wanted to play a fantasy rhythm game, but I am pretty big on audio, so it was nevertheless distracting. Anyway, so you get some story about using spells from the Metronomicon to defeat dancing enemies, having parties, and let's be honest here. The story isn't amazing, but I give the developers props for doing something so silly. And I'm a fan of camp. Hell, my intro to this video was a take on Evil Dead, the greatest film franchise of all time, and I'll put anyone in the comments on blast if they try to tell me otherwise, but I will admit, I found myself skipping through the voiceover and just skimming the cutscenes after a while, so take that as you will. Now, on to the more important bits. How exactly does this game work? Well, to be frank, not as well as I had hoped, and that really isn't as big of an issue as it may seem, so let me explain. The Metronomicon uses a party system for clearing dungeons. Generally speaking, you'll want to have a tank, 2 DPS, and a healer. You can gear these characters up and equip their spells before you enter a dungeon, which is what I am calling the tracks you can play. Once you have your team sorted, you jump into a standard rhythm game format with arrows on tracks denoting which keys to press. But in this case, there are 4 tracks, one for each member of your party. You jump around through each one, building consecutive notes hit to launch a spell at enemies. So the concept there seems simple enough to be all you need to worry about, because anything more may be a bit confusing. Well, if you haven't guessed by that foreboding sentence, there is more to worry about, and worry you will. On top of having to hot swap tracks, you must also manage your team's health, buffs, and debuffs, and spell types for defeating different enemies with specific strengths and weaknesses. Basic RPG fare, but when you throw in the added need to tunnel vision into a track to play a rhythm game, the rest becomes next to impossible to keep up with. Debuffs are a prime example for me. Because they're located at the bottom of the screen, I could never see them without making an extra effort to pause between attacks, switch to my healer and clear the debuff, and it's detrimental to getting a high score. At the same time, I found that if I just powered through the dungeon without playing to mechanics, I could still win, so to me it seems like the entire element is tacked on and fairly irrelevant if you consistently hit the notes and launch spells. But I really don't want to let that discourage you, as it seems like I've been crapping on the game. I assure you my opinion of this game is not bad. I sat down to get an idea of what the game was to review it, and I ended up playing for 4 hours without a break. Because the game is actually fun. I enjoy the gameplay, I enjoy the art style, I fucking love the music. I just don't think the two genres work as well together as I or the developer had hoped. Perhaps some of my issues could be fixed with UI changes or other minor changes or additions, but as the game stands now, I can't say a rhythm RPG works as intended. But if you're looking for a new, fun rhythm game with an amazing soundtrack and hours of replayability, the Metronomicon is the game for you. Thanks for checking out my review of Metronomicon. I am hoping that you enjoyed that video as much as I enjoyed making it for you lovely, lovely people. So let me know what you thought of it in the comments below. Let me know if it's good or bad, or if you think that my taste in movies is horrible, because if you do, you're wrong. And you can leave. But you should also subscribe, like the video, or dislike it, whatever you're feeling. And check out GameX.io to take a look at our almost in open alpha mode video game recommendation platform that we really think that you are going to love. Thanks again. I just wanted to say I am Sam Cook. Have an awesome day.